Welcome to episode 10 of the Sober Stretch podcast, the podcast for anyone with a problematic relationship with alcohol. If you're an alcoholic, recovering, a little bit worried about your relationship with the booze, this is the podcast for you. I'm one of your hosts, Gary. This is my mate, Craig. Good morning, Craig. How are you?
Ecstatic, mate, to be fair. England in the semi-finals, mate. Living the dream. Fucking could have easily sunk 10 pints yesterday in the penalty shootout, but didn't. So, yeah, all good. You?
Impressive. Watched England. Just a gentle reminder for everyone that I'm Scottish, and when it gets to the penalties, I'm like, who do I really want to win?
Yeah. Who did you want to win?
England, actually. Yeah. What I don't know, like in the last Euros final, I was genuinely disappointed when they lost. But then Sancho and Rashford had missed the penalties, and that was before I didn't like either of them. As a United fan, but I don't know. I think England could win it. England-France is going to be a really shit final, though, if it went to that.
Yeah, we're not going to win it. Nah.
I do fancy Spain.
Do you know what? I could spend an hour talking about how fucking shit Harry Kane is and how Southgate keeps fucking up the formation as well. Honestly, it does my absolute nutting.
Next week it'll be episode 11 of the Sober Stretch. 2 former alcoholics become alcoholics again because of Harry Kane's inability to miss
yeah. Oh, mate, tell me about it. But no, in all seriousness, today we're going to talk about the mental health effects on alcohol, people using alcohol to treat their mental health, so self-medicating, and everything to do with that, because it's fucking huge, isn't it? Especially in this day and age. I swear, every man and his dog is struggling with some kind of mental health, myself included. Well, not as bad now, but I was a fucking state before.
Well, you know, like if you're saying not as bad as before, there's obviously like an underlying issue that you've used alcohol to help you with, no?
100%. I think I had anxiety since like childhood, but never been able to put my finger on what it is. And when I drank, I've said this before so many times, it's the cure but the cause. I would drink to get rid of my anxiety, and then that would make me more anxious, especially on a hangover, anxiety. So I'd drink again. Couldn't escape it. I used to use it to self-medicate 100%.
Well, on like for example, today, Sunday morning, 11, it's 10:50 a.m. I would be drinking by now to deal with the overpowering depression, anxiety, misery, regret. I'd be drinking now. I'd have been drinking for a few hours already.
Same. If I was awake, I would be.
Well, yeah, quite. You know, I'd have been self-medicating. That's exactly what it would have been. I've been right. Okay, morning, me can't deal with this. I know what'll make this go away.
Yeah.
And well, it never goes away because it's the cause, isn't it?
You're so right. Like, that brings back such fond memories of waking up thinking fuck, and then as soon as you have them few drinks, all your worries disappear and life is beautiful again.
Yeah, because I remember often, and I've read this. This is like a scientific thing. I often found myself the only thing that would, like, apart from drinking in the morning, that would help me would be to curl up in the fetal position. Did you do that? I've read about this as well. That there's like when you're feeling that depressed or that strung out, that you're inclined to do that because it takes you back to a time of safety. And
really,
yeah. And I always found myself in awful hangovers, like fetal position, side of the bed, mate. Like,
yeah. I don't think. No, maybe if a bird leaves me or something. But
Oh no. Yeah. Come back.
yeah,
Come back.
yeah. Nah, don't. It weren't my go-to position. I can't say that.
It wasn't my position of choice.
Yeah. But that is interesting. But nah, the thought of it's fucking cracking me up.
It's mental, isn't it? Like 6'3" hairy
I'm
man
thinking of this
curls
six
into
foot three geezer,
yeah.
beard, thinks he's the absolute man the night before, like walking around with his swagger, fucking Jack the Lad, and then the next day he's fucking curling up into a ball, man, like absolute shell of a man.
What are you staring at? I'll fucking have you outside, but we have to do it quickly because I need to go back and revert to fetal position by 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So that obviously proves that there's something in alcohol making you miserable for sure.
Maybe maybe it is because when you're in the womb or something, you're in that position.
Totally, 100%. It's like you are, in the safest place you could be, not in a bedsit in fucking, South London, being miserable. But
Uh,
yeah, I mean, I would say that I think we'll probably focus a lot on your anxiety today, but because I don't think I've ever really suffered with crippling anxiety. I don't think I drank for that reason. But you talk about it being the alcohol soothing your anxiety a
yeah,
lot,
man. Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
sure millions of our listeners,
No,
millions of people will be able to relate to that.
I don't understand how you can't. I don't understand how anyone couldn't get like anxiety after a big session. I like if I didn't get anxiety after a big session, I'd probably still be drinking. Because yeah, seriously, because it used to fuck me up bad. I would I would honestly feel that depending on how bad it was, obviously it's not all the time, but say I've done a 2 day or 3 day on the bounce, yeah. Monday, I think I'm gonna have a fucking seizure or something, honestly, because I just can't cope.
Hmm.
My maybe I wish there was we could invite like a fucking scientist on here or something called a doctor, but I'd feel like my nervous system is just shot to pieces. I would be like shaking and just could not cope with anything. The thought of anything would send me over the edge. And I remember there being a lot of times where I'd go to the pub and I'd be like, like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to down it as quick as I possibly could. And then once it went down, order another one. And normally by the third pint would be when I start chilling out and I'd be like, right, now I can think
Yeah.
what's
Wow.
going on.
Is that but like, and you're not getting? It's not. I found it wasn't even top up from the night before that when I would drink in the morning like that. It would be to bring me round to some kind of baseline of settledness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously my tolerance for alcohol was incredibly high, so a few beers in the morning wouldn't send me west,
yeah,
but it would certainly just level me out. So
yeah,
it's the cause and it's the solution
yeah,
to
yeah,
an
yeah,
alcoholic. To an alcoholic, we'll know it's the cause, I think.
yeah.
Well, do we like?
Mate, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
It's a proven fact, yeah. Alcohol is a depressant, yeah. And if you're prone to mental health problems, so if you get depression or I mean, weirdly enough, people think I'm miserable, but I have a very dry sense of humour.
Hmm.
So I don't think I'd get terrible depression. Obviously I would do if it was Monday morning and I'd spunked my bank balance. But
Mm.
if you're prone to depression and you're drinking a depressant, it's going to make you more depressed. Now, I'm not a fucking mathematician, but I think that's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Same with anxiety. Obviously, anxiety and depression are linked. So if you're an anxious person, you get absolutely steaming. You start acting like a dinlo because you wouldn't act like that if you didn't drink. You wake up in the morning and you think, "Oh my fucking god, what was I doing?" You're gonna have anxiety.
Of course. Nobody likes to make an arsehole of themselves in public. And then quite often, I think if you're a heavy drinker, a lot of your issues come out at peak drunkenness. So therefore, you do something ridiculous or shocking or rude or, unliked by your friends. And then the next thing you know, you're waking up in that pit of hell again.
Yeah,
I mean, honest to God, sober. I don't think since I got sober, I don't think I've ever woken up and felt anxious about my life to that degree.
no, no,
Why would I? You know, even when things are very hard, the normal baseline now is, oh, I'm sane enough to cope with that. I could maybe look at different perspectives, take a different angle on it, ask for someone else's input. But when you're in all that kind of if you're in a drunken mess, there's just no clarity at all, is there? And I think that's why people get to the point where they don't actually see that it's the alcohol, it's wrecking them.
yeah, yeah,
Because your thought process is pretty mashed generally, isn't it?
yeah. And you're exactly right. Yeah, and there's another side to it as well, which is because anxiety, believe it or not, in my years of having therapy, it is actually a good thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been told. So anxiety will keep us alive as a human. Say a fucking lion's chasing you, it's normal for you to have that drop in your heart, and your reaction speed just goes boom. Do you know what I mean? But when you're drinking to get over anxiety or stress or depression, that problem's still going to be there tomorrow, but 10 times worse. And that's just going to keep accumulating. So that's why I found, like, when I did first stop drinking, I thought, what the fuck, mate? Like, all these problems started to arise out of nowhere. And that's because I haven't dealt with them since I was 14 years old.
What kind of problems?
Just stress, like general day-to-day stress. Shit day at work, go to the pub, fall out with a bird, have an argument, go to the pub or have a drink. Everything, every day-to-day problem. It doesn't have to be anything extraordinary, but the way that I would deal with it would be having a drink. And all you're doing, obviously, is pushing that problem to the bottom of the barrel. When you become sober, it's going to arise again, but fucking more powerful.
Yeah, I think if you drink like we did, you give yourself zero opportunity to live your brain's most normal life. Because it's just in this state of, I don't know, fight, flight, whatever, and
Yeah,
you don't actually get to exist like a normal human.
no,
Because you're either drinking to get drunk, or drunk, or like hanging, and there's nothing else really, is there?
no.
So like, how the fuck is your mental health going to survive that? It's like a
Well,
no-brainer.
exactly. You can't just drink you can't drink your problems away for your whole life. You can, but you will die young, or you'll die earlier than what you should. Because life life is life. We're always going to have problems. Do you know what I mean? If I saw something that was saying, if you're not worried about your health, you're going to be worried about your money. And then when your money situation gets sorted out, something might happen with your health, and you'll be worried about your health again. Or once them two are fixed, something going on with your career. There's always going to be something. And
Yeah.
when you drink, you don't actually deal with the problem. So that problem is always going to be there. You're never, ever, ever going to deal with it. So it's no surprise that when you do get sober, fuck me, it is like being hit by a brick wall full of problems.
Yeah.
Because your life's fucked and you've got a lot of shit to sort out.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like my life was fucked when I stopped drinking. I looked at it
Yeah.
from, maybe 2 or 3 weeks in this heightened state of, it was almost like, I felt like an animal poking its head out of like its den as the sun came up, thinking like, what
Yeah,
predator's going to kill me
yeah,
today? Right? I've
yeah,
never dealt with this before. So,
yeah.
oh shit, a lion! I'll just stay in my room.
Yeah, that's
And-
like them turtles that like hatch on the beach, innit, and try and run to the sea, bro, before an eagle swoops down and gets them.
yeah.
That's emotional.
But that's it's what you're living in, isn't it? It's like this heightened state of tension and, you know, the heightened state of tension means that anytime a problem comes near, I'll just grab a drink. I'll be like,
Yeah,
oh, I'll drink. Oh, that'll do.
instant reaction. Yeah,
And yeah, well, obviously that's not sustainable.
no,
But you know, even there's all kinds of these the alcohol spectrum. You know, there are people like you and I who just drank like, you know, pigs all the time at any second's opportunity, and then there are other people that will have that issue with alcohol that on a Friday night they will get blasted just to escape the stress of the week.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's all kinds of extremes, but it's not healthy for anyone. There's a guy I follow on Instagram, and he's about, I don't know, he's probably younger than you, I think. He's about 8 months sober, and his whole life has transformed.
yeah.
Everything, he's gone viral. It's all about, a lot of his content's about running. So you'd relate to that. And his whole life has changed in 7 months.
Mad,
Every
mad.
element of his ability to manage relationships. I mean, there are tons of accounts like this, obviously, but I'm just picking this one out that I saw a reel of before we started. Every element of his life is unrecognizably better.
It's crazy, innit, mate? 7 months, I was still struggling big time.
Yeah, no, yeah, but I think he was like a weekend offender. He wasn't like
Oh,
a Tuesday
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Tuesday Weatherspoon scumbag like we were.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But again, that's the point, isn't it? Even someone who only canes it at the weekends can be
Exactly.
massively affected
Yeah,
by this. So don't
yeah.
think like
No,
we're not.
because think about it though. If you work, fucking throat, man. If you work Monday to Friday and you just drink on the weekends, all of your free time, your time is consumed by booze and wasted. So the impact, even if you just drink on the weekend, the impact is still massive on your life, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let alone if you drink half the week or every day. Obviously, it's going to be bigger. But
Mm.
yeah, even if you just drink on the weekend, it's still massive, man. Fair play to them. Wankers are
Yeah,
going viral though.
hey.
Nothing.
It's just, life is so much easier when you're sober, isn't it? But okay, like you're 20 months, 20 what 20? What did you say? 22 months now, are you?
Yeah, what's the date today?
The 7th of July.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be 23 months on the 10th.
Like, mate, nearly 2 years.
Yeah, man.
So let's use you as an example, because mine was a long time ago. You said you were still a bit mashed after 7 months. This is someone that drank every day.
Yeah.
How's your mental health improved from being sober 7 months to 23 months? Because that's what a lot of people accept, that the early months are really, really tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
people are like looking for evidence that,
Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah.
It's going to drag into the year. I think it
Yeah.
scares people when I say, oh, I was fucking, my brain was fucked for 3 years, and it really
Yeah.
was. But
Yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah.
the payoff was worth it. What
Yeah.
about you?
Cool. So from let's say yeah, so from let's say from 20 months ago to now, or 23 months, whatever. The difference is I'm trying to use examples, yeah. So say I was a guy that could not do anything, any day-to-day things without drinking. Going to work some days, I'd need to have a drink because my mental health was so bad. Getting my hair cut because I was so fucking, I would feel trapped in a barber seat. I'd make sure I have a couple of drinks before getting my barnet chopped. Now I'm trying to think what I've done. I have done quite a few things since, but last night, for an example, I was in Brighton full of pissheads in like some big crowded environment, beer getting chucked all everywhere, watching England, and I didn't feel the need to have a drink once, and I didn't feel anxious once. Yeah, my mental health has transformed massively. I couldn't even dream about talking about my problems on a fucking podcast to people. Like it's massive, the difference. Honestly, I cannot put it into words, the difference in my mental health.
So are you saying that like those, say, like first 6 or 7 months, not great mentally?
No.
What can you say to people to reassure them that after about 7 or 8 months they may start to feel even more, even saner?
Well, so it's just think about it logically. For everyone knows, like for something to get better, it needs to get worse first. Yeah. So your body and your brain. Your brain is used to this constant drinking to make it feel better. When you stop, there's no fucking surprise that you're going to feel anxious or depressed because your brain is getting that dopamine from alcohol and it stops producing its own dopamine. So it's going to take a long time, obviously, to feel better, but your body's fucking amazing, isn't it? Like, and your brain and everything. Honestly, it's crazy, and it does repair. And I don't know, like, just I can't tell you how bad I was, like mentally. Honestly, my life was genuinely not worth living at all. I was a fat waste of space. Yeah, everyone says, "Oh, you shouldn't be so cruel to yourself," but it's fucking true. I was a fat waste of space. Now, I'm not saying I'm Superman or anything, but I've ran half marathon. I've climbed a couple of mountains and that, not Mount Everest, but still. And I genuinely wake up every day and think I'm lucky to be alive and not feel that doom feeling. Like I wake up sometimes, I've had a nightmare that I've had a drink and I can feel that doom feeling, and then I'm like, fuck, it was just a nightmare, thank fuck for that. And I can go about my day. So I feel blessed every day. I don't just live for the weekends anymore. Every day is, I sound religious, every day is a blessing, man. But no, I just enjoy life so much more. I'm not limited to what I can do because of my mental health and things like that. I feel like the world is my oyster. If that makes any sense.
Of course it does, yeah, because you do feel like, I think, like once you get over the initial horribleness of trying to cope with life without a drink, your life opens up, doesn't it? That's what it is. It's like all these opportunities,
Yeah,
and you're like,
man.
wow. And like those are things that happen for people
Yeah.
that don't get caned every day. But I just couldn't believe the amount of interesting things that were being offered to me, or it was like my sober being attracted goodness.
Yeah.
Job opportunities, relationships with people. I don't mean like romantic relationships, just like interesting, deeper relationships with people.
Yeah. Do you know
Work
what's funny?
opportunities, just like a whole new
Yeah.
world became like accessible to me.
I was that you. Sorry to interrupt, but you just made me think. Like I still remember the first time when I found a conversation with someone interesting without having to have a drink. Like I felt this. Seriously,
Yeah, it's
I
crazy,
felt
isn't it,
like
man?
a desire to want to know what someone has got to say. Whereas before, it was just a case of how much longer is this cunt going to talk for? Because I need to get a drink.
Shut up, I'm thirsty, knobhead.
Yeah. All right, mate. Catch you in a bit. Yeah. That was mad. That was really eye opening. Actually, I was like, "Fuck! I'm actually enjoying a conversation. What is going on?"
That's crazy, man. That's absolutely insane. That
I know.
like trying to unpack that. Is it that you were selfish as a drunk, or were you had nothing interesting to say and were worried people wouldn't find you interesting? Were you so depressed that you didn't care what anyone else had to say? It's like so
All of
much
the
to
above.
unpack.
All of the
Just
above.
all of the above. Yeah, yeah. See, I never really had that. But I can understand how the alcohol would almost paralyze you.
Yeah.
Well, no, the alcohol would like open you up to the conversations, but then the alcohol is paralyzing your ability to lead a normal life and
Yeah.
enjoy conversations. Like, what's the point of
Yeah.
being alive if you can't enjoy a conversation with another
Yeah,
person?
man. But think when the typical pub person now, or not typical pub person actually, but typical me is having a few beers, getting on the gear, talking shit, not wanting to listen to anyone else's stories because you've done so much packet that you just exploding and you just want to talk more shit. You just want to get it out, yeah. Not listening to anyone else, like anything that they've got to say. And it's all just rubbish, do you know what I mean? It's all fucking crap. What are you doing? Putting the world to right when you're fucking off your nut. You're a twat.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything really, does it?
No. No. Um, it just makes me laugh. Like you said, like, yeah, you could be walking around the pub thinking this, that, and the other. You're in the fetal position. Do you know what I mean? You ain't the big man no more, are you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It would be funny if you'd piss someone off, yeah, and they just come into your house, mate, and they just see you shivering wreck. Come on, Gaz, you said you wanted to meet up for a fight this morning.
Yeah, yeah. Should we have a fetal position fight in the middle of the street, or should we just stand up and fight?
Yeah. So your mental health then? So you've never really touched wood. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but you've not really suffered with anxiety. What how was your mental health then? Because it can't have been great.
Oh man, no, mine was. I don't think mine was anxiety. I think mine was depression. It depressed me so much, and it was like you say, like the booze just floating around in your system all the time. It's just prodding the depression bear inside you, isn't it? Um, I mean, my mental health. I was in a highly elevated state of stress at all times. I would say from about the age of 18 until I stopped drinking, really, because I worried a lot about things like my financial situation, getting to the end of the month, debt collectors, overdrafts. A lot of my stress at the beginning was financial because obviously when I got to uni, I rinsed it so hard.
Yeah, everyone does.
Oh, mate, I reckon I must be in the top 1% of wankers that rinsed it in their first
Who
year at uni.
who uses their student loan for the right things? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't know. Like it's as if yeah, they're like, right, here's a couple of grand to get fucked, and then that's for the next 10 years.
well, yeah, just I found it impossible to resist the temptation when the student loan came in. Impossible. There was no right. So I've got 1,800. I need X hundred of pounds for my rent. I need da da da, and that will be what's left over to enjoy my life. Still, my brain doesn't operate like that. So I've got weird trauma around money. I'm sure of it. So the student loan would come in, and I'd be nervous about it when it came in. I'd be like, oh no, I'm going to spend all this, and I knew it, and I couldn't fight it. I couldn't do anything to fight it. And that would be gone in no time. So I kind of set a really nasty financial situation for myself. I set the financial tone early on in my adulthood. Always, always, always skint. And I think not wanting to reveal that to family and then borrowing money and then not being able to pay it back from the wrong types of people, people that had come onto your doorstep. And you think it was a traffic warden, and they'd be like, oh, it's not a traffic warden. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That just constant state of money worries
Yeah,
was deeply embedded in me early on, and I
yeah,
found that really hard to shake. So every paycheck that should have been going to pay stuff back, getting blasted in the pub, and then the Monday morning, and it was just this constant state of I am stressed out of my fucking mind unless I'm pissed.
yeah.
So that was for me. It was
You
intense.
can't, you can't. Although you know you're doing the wrong thing by spending more money getting drunk, the thought of having to deal with that stress is just so way too much. Like, in it,
It is at the
meltdown.
time, but like retrospectively, when I look back and I think, oh God,
Oh, of course, yeah. But I'm
oh
saying in your head at that time, that's what you were thinking, innit?
yeah,
You,
of course, and that's important that people know that
it's not the right way to deal with it. Nah.
it's A, it's not the right way to deal with it, but B, it's not nearly as bad as you think.
No,
Nothing's
no.
ever as bad as you think, but the drink that because it's in you all the time, it's convincing you your life is worse than you think it is. But then you deep down you're like, well, all I really do is drink, so maybe it is as bad as I think it is. And
Yeah.
then it's just this internal mental battle. So that was it for me. I wouldn't get anxious about going to like a job interview, for example. I wouldn't get anxious about that. That's not something that I get anxious about.
No, me neither.
Oh right, okay. So when you talk about like this pervading anxiety that like was always there, what kind of things made you anxious?
It was. Do you know what? I could never really put my finger on it, but mine was more like panic, but over fuck all.
Mm.
So I wouldn't worry if like I wouldn't worry about a job interview, or I wouldn't worry that I've made a tit of myself. I wouldn't give a shit over anything like that.
Wow, we're different.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't worry if someone said, "Oh, this guy wants to beat you up" or anything like that. I would just get like this panic, like these physical symptoms of doom, but I have no idea why. Yeah. If there's any therapists listening, feel free to diagnose me.
Ah, you are an alcoholic. There you go. That'll be 80 quid, please.
Yeah.
Because it is as simple as that, really, isn't it? Like, you still okay? You still suffer with anxiety
Yeah.
on occasion,
Yeah. I
and
take
I still.
medication. I have done for fucking years. And every time I go therapy, they'll be like talking about my childhood, or they'll say, explain your childhood. And I just don't understand, like, what the fuck could have happened in my childhood that gave me anxiety. Like, I can't think. I think I had a good childhood.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the same.
But
Which I guess in some ways makes it sadder.
yeah,
I mean, that's not fair on people that have had awful drinking or drug problems because their childhood was hideous. It's not fairer, but we got yeah. My childhood was like okay,
yeah,
and
we,
I
we
know
have
that.
we have
I
no
know,
excuses at all. Like, zero.
yeah, man. I mean, there must be things that are considered. It's the word trauma, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what is trauma? Is trauma watching your parents argue? Scientists will tell you, yeah, that's just
But come
50% of
on,
people's upbringing. Like,
innit?
loads of
Come
people's
on, for
parents
fuck's sake.
argue. So, yeah, I don't know. I think
Yeah, mate, that's
there's
I
trauma,
don't
and
care
then
what
there's kind
anyone
of
says. I don't care what anyone says. Anyone that uses that as an excuse can fuck right off. Seriously, everyone argues, yeah. You've got kids in Ukraine and that, yeah. War torn country, mate. Probably a missile missed them by the skin of their teeth, yeah. They'll have better mental health than us, mate.
well, it'll be tougher, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you use that as an, yeah, this is what the therapist said to me. Did your mum and dad used to argue? Yeah, they did. They got divorced. Oh, I bet that was so hard. Everyone gets fucking divorced. It's 2024, mate. Do you know what I mean?
But that might have been a reason, though, for you that it was an uncomfortable thing when you were little, so you started drinking. But I don't,
I just don't think so.
I don't think anything from my childhood. I'll rephrase that. I don't think anything that would be under the umbrella of trauma in my childhood caused my drinking.
You cause your drinking.
I think so. I think my body was lying on its back with its legs in the air, going, "Oh,
Yeah.
like
Not
come on,
not in the
drink,
fetal position for once.
come on, drink, enter me." You know,
Yeah, mate.
I was game, man. I was up for it.
Mate,
Um,
I think we just the way that we were born, the way your brain is, the way that my brain is, we just couldn't stop once we started, and
mhm.
we just got blessed with that stick. Some people's brain work differently to ours. They can say yes, they can say no, and they can get fucked if they want, or they can choose just to have one or two. They can wake up in the morning and feel a little bit sick like a normal person, have a fry up, and carry on with their day.
Yeah.
What a dream! Unfortunately, we couldn't.
No, no. Chemical. I always say, people say, "Why do you drink so much?" I go, chemical disposition. Like, I'm sure my body just was like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Yeah, but you're like it now with like chocolate and sweets and that, aren't you? Or biscuits,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm the same. So yeah, maybe there is some mental. There probably is a diagnosis behind it, but what's the point? What's the point in putting a label on everything? We're just all or nothing people,
Yeah, yeah.
and can't use excuses for that. You just got to use it to your advantage. Use it to the fact that you can, yeah, use it to your advantage. So use that all or nothing mentality into something good.
Well, I've been very all or nothing with things since I got sober, and I've seen the parallels between my drinking and my life.
Exactly.
You know, when I got sober, I was living abroad, and I insisted on making my life as complicated and stressful as possible by moving all the time because I didn't want to settle anywhere. I was like, "Oh, well, I'm single now and I'm sober, so I'd like to go and live in Barcelona, but I'm
Yeah.
settled where I am, and I've made new friends, but it's going to be an upheaval." And I'd be like, "Well, I don't give a fuck because I want to go and do that." So I did it, you know, all in.
Yeah.
I had a nice, comfortable life in Barcelona, and then I stressed myself by moving to Budapest with someone that shouldn't have moved there with,
Yeah.
because I was titillated by the excitement of moving, but it caused me a lot of stress. You know, that I'm just that kind of
Impulsive.
impulsive. I was spontaneous,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
risk taking, and now I've managed to channel most of that into positive. You know.
Mate, I think it's a blessing to be that kind of person because you take chances and yeah, it can be a fucking pain in the ass when you want to settle down and it can be, I understand exactly where you're coming from. It can be a nightmare, but you can see you can see straight away what sort of a drinker you were because that's been your mentality. That's who you are. And that's
Mm.
why alcohol is not good for you because you can't shut off. You're looking for the next big thing. Or I've had one or two beers. Now let's get on to the heavy stuff. Do you know what I mean? Let's
Yeah,
drink
it's
in the
like
morning. That's rock and roll. Let's do something.
it had to be rock and roll, baby. You know, it was, you know, excitement, drama, chaos. It's
Yeah, man.
appealing,
Love
appealing.
it. Love it. Disastrous, but fucking love it.
But when you like, and I look at my personality, my character that I've always been, there is absolutely no way that alcohol should have been thrown into the mix with my mental makeup. No way.
No.
That was always on the cards to be a disaster.
Yeah.
And just like the flourishing of my life since I stopped drinking, mentally, emotionally, almost every level.
Yeah.
All I can see now, alcohol obliterated any possibility I had of having a fulfilling life for 15 years. Everything that I did that was wrong or was a bad decision or was too spontaneous all stemmed from drinking.
Yeah.
All of it. I just wonder how much further I could have got on in life if I hadn't drunk.
Mm.
It's fucking annoying. But at the same time, I like who I am today, and I like my stories, and I like the fact that I kind of got out of it. It was almost like crawling out of a boxing ring, just having been punched to fuck for 12 rounds and just going, right, I didn't win, but I'm not dead. Like,
Yeah, man.
that's how I felt when I finally got sober. I was like, oh, just about managed to escape.
Thing is, though, you can't be annoyed about it, because I always think that in a way it's alcoholics seem so selfish to the people that don't know what it's like.
Mm.
But for you to get sober at 30, 32,
33.
33, you're so lucky, because I swear, I don't know the statistics, but I swear most people with a problem with alcohol don't stop drinking until they're in like their mid 40s, 50s, 60s.
Mm.
So you're lucky, really, ain't you?
I think so. Yeah. Because when you know it's so hard to escape, but you did it anyway, and you're
Yeah,
still. And I mean, I'm 43, and I'm like, whoa! My 30s were amazing. My 30s would have just been as shit as my 20s if I'd just been
exactly.
drinking. And I've done
Worse,
loads of like,
man. Your
oh
mental
yeah,
health would have deteriorated even more. Your money problems would be. You'd be in a squat.
mate.
We would probably both be on the streets, wouldn't we? Like, no doubt.
Do you know what? I often, and I don't say this flippantly, I often used to look at homeless people and walk down the street and wonder how far away I was from that.
Yeah.
I used to think I'm only about 4 or 5 bad decisions from that situation.
Yeah.
And it used to frighten me a lot. I'd be like, oh God, am I really able to get into that, to get further down the line and be like that? And I think I was getting there. Well, I know I was.
In it, and think how many bad decisions you must have made, because it's not like you didn't have a mum or a dad or a supportive family or anything like that. You'd have to fuck off a lot of people to end up like that.
Mm.
And but when you choose booze over everything, eventually people will just say, look, I can't help you, I've got to let you go.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing.
It is tragic. I mean, it's important that we caveat all of, we do laugh a lot about all the depressing times. And I think that's really healthy. No? That we don't, because I think a lot of people go, oh, I'm going to miss out on so much fun. I'm going to be a boring bastard. And also, I'm not going to be able to enjoy all these epic, moments in my family's lives, or, I can't have a beer at X's wedding. Don't be worrying about that. Like, just worry about fixing your life up, because the said fix up, I mean, you'll just be thanking your lucky stars that you're not going to X's wedding with, 1.5 grams of gear in your pocket. You'll just be so relieved. For me, it was relief. It was relief that I would get a little bit of a lift mentally all the time. I was like, oh wow, so this sobriety just comes with like a mental upgrade.
Nothing bad about
it's
it,
a
man.
guaranteed upgrade on your mental health, isn't it? Straight away.
1 million billion %.
Even in the early days.
Your mental health can't get worse from quitting drinking a depressant. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like mate, the benefits. What do you think your main mental benefits are from quitting drinking?
Wow.
I know it's tough. It actually is fucking hard on the spot to think. But since quitting drinking, what normally would have held you back because of your mental health, have you been able to do now that you wouldn't have been able to do before, basically? So what would your mental health have stopped you from doing previously?
It would have kept, like, well, I think about my career as an example. When I became a teacher, I was drinking, but when I became a really good teacher, it's when I stopped drinking. And I just think about my career as the first thing. I realized when I got sober, or after a few years of being sober, that I could do anything. as long as I set my mind to it. And I had such a low opinion of myself in terms of skills that I had, in terms of things that I could offer. My opinion of myself was like dirt. And then with sober clarity, I realized, and with a mental health upgrade, I thought, I can literally do anything I want. I can achieve anything as long as I set my mind to it and I'm consistent and
Yeah.
disciplined. So realizing that there were no limits to what I could achieve
So much
was,
hope.
oh, mate, yeah, because I honestly thought my life, I'm sure you felt the same, I had written off my life.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
We said last week about this is my lot, and
yeah,
I accepted that.
yeah,
But with sobriety, I realized that there was no such thing as a lot. There was endless possibilities. And
yeah,
because of that, my confidence grew, my self-esteem grew. And as I started to see a correlation between the length of sobriety and the improvement in my career standing, opinion amongst friends and peers, everything had just gone.
yeah.
And that allowed me to be more confident, to be more, to be less stressed and anxious about, I don't know, a big future event that might be able to positively impact me. I believed that I was able to go in there and affect that. Does that make sense?
100%.
Like you've got, you need to go and do a presentation to a group of trainee teachers. Oh, I
Honestly,
can't. If I was drinking,
hay fever, man. Fuck.
it's all right.
Yeah,
If I was, I'll start that again. For example, if I was told that I had to go and give a presentation or a teaching class to a load of trainee teachers about, oh, I can't do that. Why have they chosen me? I don't have that skill. I'm not up to it. I'm not blah, blah, blah. But sober, be like, fuck it. Give me a board marker. Where's the door? Do you know what I mean? I just had so much more confidence and belief in myself.
yeah,
And when that momentum of self-belief and higher self-esteem comes, then you take on more
yeah,
challenges.
yeah,
And
yeah.
as you overcome them and respond to them positively, you just start to feel not indestructible, but so capable. I just felt way more capable.
More opportunities arise because you're taking
Yeah,
more on.
loads more, loads more.
I think a big one for you, I don't know, but you're not. Could you have held a relationship down with your Mrs. Gabby now? With Would you have been attractive to her with your with your mental health before?
Well, I must have been because I met her when I was drinking, you know.
Yeah,
And so the story is that we met, both liked to drink, moved to Spain, broke up, because of my behaviour and drinking,
there you go.
and then now I'm, you know, the father to her second child, the father to her, stepfather to her first child. So evidently, no. When we were together, it didn't work because I was
Yeah,
an alcoholic,
yeah.
and it didn't have the legs. So every element of my life has improved. But like
Every
today,
element.
like speaking about mental health, I just feel it's weird because I feel like all of the things that I've been able to do because I'm sober, like meditate regularly, show gratitude, do things like cold water therapy, all the things that wankers on Instagram do.
But you don't. Yeah, I don't. I ain't seen no videos of you yet. Fucking dunking in an ice bath. I think I've done one once. Fuck, I'm a twat. Uh,
Mate, I can't record that. I mean, there's enough people have seen enough naked men, semi-naked men jumping into a plunge pool. But all these things, what I was going to say, um, getting sober allows you to do something simple like meditate, which greatly improves your mental health. That's what I was going to say. So, like from meditation, I've become calmer and more patient. From doing sober and sound and this, I've become, I don't know, more confident, more open. I don't know, like just endless list of mental health benefits.
but that goes hand in hand as well, doesn't it? The meditation. How has the meditation helped you mentally
It
against
just
drinking?
Well, it just slows everything down. It makes you realize that tiny little things are glorious and can be appreciated. Um, it's made my decision making better. It's increased my patience. It's allowed me to look at my stressful thoughts with clarity and let them go.
Really?
Oh, mate, but meditation is the fucking one.
Am I missing something with meditating?
You're missing the boat, man.
Because I still get stressed. I still get fucking stressed, and not like horrendously, but I still have a short fuse sometimes over things that, like driving and stuff like that. I I think maybe meditating might be the one for me.
Not might, is.
Really?
Meditation is the single best thing I did when I stopped drinking, to be able to
Really?
dovetail the sobriety fight, to fight along. I needed meditation. I was like, yo, come with me, meditation, because I need fucking help. And I've identified that you're the one. And when I mean, I'm 10 years sober. I maybe have meditated. I meditated every day this year from January to about the early March. And then Sober and Sound started taking up a lot more of my time. And then we met. And then I've got other commitments. And the meditation's kind of drifted away a little
Taking
bit.
the back seat, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, and that generally happens in my life. And I'm more irritable. I'm less patient.
Really?
Just more of an arse.
So you can notice
Meditation.
a difference straight away when
Oh,
you.
fuck me, mate.
This
Yeah.
this is like groundbreaking. Like,
It's not though
no,
for half the
seriously.
world. That's the
You know
thing.
why? Because in this day and age, yeah, I don't want to be like one of these mad conspiracies people and that, but I'm such an advocate for natural healing, and like I've taken pills for anxiety since I was a kid, yeah. Not like mad heavy dosages, but exercise isn't prescribed by a doctor. Meditation, I've never I've heard of it, but I've never known that the effects can be that huge.
Oh,
So
mate.
why are more people not doing it? Like,
I think they are though. I honestly think they are.
mate, I find that I mean, for you to recommend everyone to do it if they want to quit drinking, so it's a huge statement. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I'd recommend it to anyone and everyone at any stage of their life. There's this one thing on. I think it's on. I can't remember what kids company have made it. I think it's called Stillwater, and it's about this panda, this fucking Zen panda.
Yeah,
And I watched it. I was like, I'm gonna get my daughter to watch that. Bear in mind, at the time she was 2. I'm like, right, Nance, we're gonna watch something different today. We're not gonna watch Bluey, which is amazing, by the way. And we watched one episode. She was a bit, moving like wiggly, wriggly, because it wasn't
yeah,
what she was familiar with. But I could see her watching it, be like, trying to suss it out.
yeah.
I want the kids to be meditating young. Single best thing I did when I got sober was to
Wow.
use meditation as a really important tool alongside just having a pair of bollocks. When I talk about you need support plan, desire to stop drinking, and a pair of bollocks. That's all you need. Part of the plan is implementing things like meditation, gratitude, just taking that little bit of time to set your day up.
Yeah,
But the thing is, mate, it takes time. People
yeah.
go, "Oh, I meditated last week, 4 days on the trot, and I fucking hate it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, yeah, yeah,
That's me. That's
yeah, yeah,
me.
yeah."
Why do I not feel like fucking $1 million?
Give it time, mate. Look, you're patient enough. You've fought alcoholism for the last 23 months, and you've won the battle every single day. You're
Yeah,
patient enough to start meditating.
yeah. No, I'm
But
gonna give it a go.
do it
Before bed or in the morning.
in the morning, definitely. I mean, why not in bed at night as well? It might initiate a better night's sleep. But for me, the morning, set the tone for the day. Set yourself up on. Give yourself a little 15-20 minute period to not empty your mind, but just to like think. How often you get up in the morning, boom, you start doing tasks, you go to the gym, you go out, but when do you actually ever think about how you feel? Like really, meditation's not allowing, not like not thinking. That's fucking impossible. Meditation's being comfortable with the thoughts that are coming, analysing them a bit, and then go right, fuck off. Next one, let's have another one.
Yeah, nice. So it can be uncomfortable to start.
I would say so. Yeah. But like the level of discomfort that you've experienced in your life,
Yeah.
tough
Yeah.
shit. Just do it every day for 6 months. Here's me
Yeah.
saying I've not been as easy going in the last couple of months because I've not been doing it. So obviously it's hard though when you got kids to like squeeze it in the morning
Yeah.
unless you're getting up at 4 a.m.
Needs must though. If
But
it
it needs must.
if it helps you that much and it can have that big of effect on your life, why would you not do it for half hour?
Go to Google Play or whatever what is it?
App Store,
App Store. What are you on?
Apple, iPhone,
Yeah, go into the App Store and download the app Balance.
Balance. I've
It's
got it, but I don't use it.
well, the first year is 65 quid, I think, for the year. I think you can get it for the first year for free. If
Yeah,
you've
you
got
can.
it, well, mate, Balance app's fucking amazing, man. I
I'm
used to
gonna
rock
use
up
it.
to work,
I'm gonna
drive up to
use it.
work, park in the car park 5 minutes before, do like 4 in, 4 out, boom, walk into work like, yeah, baby, come on.
Oh mate, yeah, I'm getting on it.
Persevere.
So yeah. So in a nutshell, I'm gonna let everyone know how I'm progressing with my meditating.
We should. You should. You should.
No,
You
yeah,
should do it on.
definitely.
You should do it on Live Without Limits. Document it as well, mate. It'd be great.
I'll be a fucking, I don't know what I'll be, Zen master or something. I'll be a Zen panda in
Yeah.
in no time. But I was just thinking as well, because when I asked you like the difference in your mental health, obviously before then and now, I was just thinking as well, like the things that I've been able to do since quitting drinking because my mental health would stop me from doing it. So bearing in mind, I had a short-term loan spell in Leeds to sort my life out, got offered a job there, blah, blah, blah. It was probably the heaviest 6 months of my life. I was on one big time, and Leeds isn't really the place to do that either. Like there's a lot of
No, Leeds is a good night out.
there's a lot of temptation around. And I remember when I left Leeds, because my nan and granddad passed away when I was over there. So I was like, fuck, I need to come back. You know, when you just want to be around family and that. So I thought Leeds is not the one. Just to go over there, this is so bad, yeah. Just to go over there, I had to drink whilst I was driving over there to get my stuff. So I was drinking whilst actually driving because my anxiety was so fucking bad. I couldn't deal with being in the motor for that long.
Wow.
And that's how bad it was when it was like at its worst. I couldn't do general normal daily things without having to have a drink because of my anxiety. I was having cans of gin before work because couldn't deal with the stress of work. And now, I mean, what have I done? Nothing like groundbreaking, but just to not have had a drink for 23 months is huge when I was so dependent on it for my anxiety cure. It was like a fire extinguisher putting out a fire. That's what the booze was like for me.
Yeah.
But the fire was the anxiety. I've climbed, like I said, I climbed Snowdon without having a drink. I could have done Snowdon before, but I would have had a rucksack. I said I would have had a rucksack of booze. I would have.
When
Mate.
we get to the top of this mountain, we're getting fucking on it, lads.
Oh, mate, yeah, 100%. I would have been drinking on the way up there.
I was just going to say, as if we had all those beers in the rucksack and waited till you got to the top.
Yeah, no chance. I've become a qualified personal trainer. There is no way that I would have been able to do that. No fucking way. What else have I done? Yeah, just general life is just changed so much. And it's not gonna get rid of all your anxiety, but you have to learn to deal with things. To get over something, you have to go through it, don't you?
Yeah.
You can't just avoid it. your entire life through booze. Never going to work.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Booze will rip and wreck your life up in a heartbeat. And it's scary. I've saw a few accounts of people documenting their decline from like mainly women, weekend drinkers to white wine every night drinkers, and that shit just creeps in slowly.
Yeah, mate.
And then that's when your mental health starts to slowly deteriorate.
Uh-huh.
And then you're like, well, why is it going down the pan? And it's
And
really easy to think that it's not the bottle and a half of white wine you're drinking every night. It's mental.
I know. Scratching your head, wondering why you've fucking got anxiety or you're depressed.
Yeah, like, oh, why? Oh, why?
And what happens is
we
your
had 4 bottles of wine yesterday. Oh, yeah, right.
And what happens is your tolerance gets higher because you're drinking every night now instead of just on the weekend. So then you need 2 bottles of wine a night.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
3 bottles of wine a night. I mean, for me, 1 bottle of wine, by the end of it, 1 bottle of wine wouldn't even scratch the surface, mate. Honestly. I don't understand how girls, or blokes as well, can sit there and just nurse a glass of wine. That's just going down the hatch.
Oh, I used to drink wine like I honestly swear I honestly used to drink wine like it was beer.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like, I loved wine, and I used to drink white wine often in the weekends in the morning. Was a drink that I used to like. It got just got to the chase. Come on, we're getting on it. And I used to, because I'm super early. No matter how hungover I was, I could always get up quite early. And white wine out of a tumbler, just neck it like it was beer.
Yeah.
If we're going to do today, we're doing it properly. Let's get.
Yeah, 100%. No, I get you. I could never nurse a glass of wine.
Mate,
But that's, again,
who are these people that have 1 pint and then go home?
they haven't been hit with the all or nothing stick, have they?
No, but I honestly think there are more people than that like that than the other way. Nobody likes leaving the pub after 1. Not many people.
I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone. None of my mates.
Not a lot of mine now, but not back then.
I don't know one single soul.
Well, there you go. That shows how dangerous it is, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, I really enjoyed that 1 pint. That has absolutely satisfied my desire to have 1 alcoholic beverage. I think I'll go home now and drink a cup of tea and then 2 glasses of elderflower squash for the rest of the night. That sounds like a logic. Like, who are these fucking weirdos?
Psychos.
Where do they come from? You lucky bastards.
Yeah, innit? But they ain't got a problem. We have it, isn't it?
Well, yeah, maybe we no longer have that problem, which is nice.
Exactly.
The boys done good, haven't we?
Yeah, 100%. Probably wrap it up then, shall we?
Let's do it. Yeah, well, thanks for listening, everyone. Craig, we are at The Sober Stretch on Instagram, and we're on YouTube and Spotify. Come and find us. Listen to any episodes you haven't. Let us know what you think of the episodes. Your individual page is?
At Live Without Limits _coaching.
Sweet. I am at Sober and Sound, sober, letter N, sound. That's where you can find us. That's on Instagram. Come and join the sober party, everybody. It's fun.
This time next week, England will be in the final.
You reckon?
Not sure.
This time next week, Emma Raducanu will be Wimbledon champion.
Fucking no chance. I haven't watched none of Wimbledon.
Mate, tennis is the second best sport in the world.
I haven't watched none of it. Not one game.
Mate. Emma's playing today. I'm going to be watching that. Safe. Thank you very much.
Right. Nice one. Catch you later. Adios.
In a bizzle.